His Holiness Jayapatak Swami Maharaj. And she speaks 9 languages, and she's an expert in astrology, and an amazing devotee. So we would enjoy. We just had dinner with her, and we spent an hour with her. It was like an amazing conversation we had with her. So I'm sure everybody will enjoy that. And I let Mataji take it over from here. We welcome her. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalaakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Jayapataka Swami Niti Namine. Nama Acharya Padaya Nitai Kripapradayine Gaurakata Damadaya Nagaragrama Tarine. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Purnamadam Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Krishna always has perfect and complete plan for our lives. Sometimes all we need to do is get out of the way. Okay, so today I have a presentation which refers to that kingdom of your life and how we can understand our karmic relationships with our families, maybe our job related karma. Maybe we are doing a job we don't like so much. Maybe we have conflicts within our work or family that we don't enjoy so much. So today I'll be sharing some realizations about the basics of Bhakti Yoga with how to apply those principles in our personal, family, or work life situations. In order to do that, I'll share one very important principle. Here you can see that although externally the cause of Mahabharat war looked like it was territorial dispute, right? The Kauravas and Pandavas were fighting for a piece of land. That's what it looks like. But actually, that's only the superficial reason. It's only the tip of the iceberg. But the actual reason was people with issues. People like Dhritarashtra had problems. People like Duryodhan had problems. People like Dronacharya had dilemmas. Right? People like Bhishma had moral dilemmas that he was facing. So people with issues causes different circumstances in our life. Within our families too. Sometimes we will wonder, why do I not feel a sense of family that is promised in Bhagavad Gita? Right? I mean, there's an expectation when we come to the process of Krishna consciousness, all problems should disappear and Krishna should take away our problems and we should feel happy. Right? So there's this famous story about the Chinese farmer. So this Chinese farmer had a son and he had these horses, right? He had a horse, one horse. So the Chinese farmer's son took this horse out on the wild, and as he was taking care of this horse, he found two wild horses that were running around in the fields. And the Chinese farmer the son was very happy. He took these two wild horses and he brought it home. So when he brought it home, all the people in the village said, "Oh, such good karma." Right? So good karma, you got two wild horses for free. And the Chinese farmer said, "Good karma, bad karma, who knows?" And then after a while, the son was training these wild horses. And while he was training, he fell down and broke his leg. And when he broke his leg, the people in the village said, such bad karma, oh poor you. And the Chinese farmer said, good karma, bad karma, who knows? And then the military started recruiting young, abled men. So they came to every house to take whoever was able. Like this farmer's son was perfect, ideal. So the military guys saw that this guy's leg was broken. And he said, okay, he's not fit for recruiting into the army. So they let him go. And the villagers said, oh, so lucky you are. The military didn't recruit your son. You're so lucky, such good karma. And what did the Chinese farmer say? Good karma, bad karma, who knows? So when we come to Krishna consciousness, there's this expectation that the issues should disappear, right? We expect that the good should remain and the bad should go away. But the secret nobody tells us is that the way to actually break the cycle of karmic trajectories and patterns and samskaras that we've been carrying for lifetimes is not to get rid of bad karma and enjoy the good karma, because good karma and bad karma work like this. Some of us have more good karma. I don't know in Seattle which one is more the possibility, but some people have a lot of good karma and some bad karma. Maybe the view, when I was flying down to Seattle, I saw, wow, breathtaking view, right? Fantastic. And then I felt the good karma of Seattle. And then I hit the road in the traffic and I said, ooh, bad karma. So, good karma and bad karma both are mixed. There are aspects of your career that are good karma area, and there are aspects of your career, maybe you don't like the boss you work for, or you don't like your colleague. So that's the bad karma aspect. So what we don't learn is this. Whenever we are enjoying the view, whenever we are enjoying the good aspects of our life, the good karma is reducing. We are actually finishing it, like money in the bank account. And whenever we are struggling, the dilemmas we face, the conflicts we face, the job that I don't like, it's actually reducing my bad karma. So I'm actually clearing debts that actually is making me free. But without this understanding, without this switch, we develop negative thinking. So because of that negative thinking, we get into the pattern, like, in case of Arjuna, he got into the negative thought pattern. Good karma, bad karma. Oh my God, I don't want to create bad karma by killing Bhishma and Drona. And Prabhupada says, Arjuna was actually thinking, if I kill everybody, who am I going to show off my kingdom to if I win in the end? So he didn't run out of weapons, right? Okay, Arjuna was the greatest warrior. He had all the weapons under his control. He had all the skills. He didn't, unlike Karna, he did not forget his mantras. Nor did he lack skills. But in Arjuna's case, there was utter sense of powerlessness. He felt vulnerable. And we may think in our family, family lives is the place where we experience vulnerability. We actually feel, there's a Vaishnava saint. He says, he explains the vulnerability that we experience in intimate relationships. He says, ಕಾಡ ಬೆಳದಿಂಗಳು ಈ ಸಂಸಾರ ಕತ್ತಲೆ ಬೆಳದಿಂಗಳು ಈ ಸಂಸಾರ. So he explains like our family is like the only shelter for us in this pitch dark moon of life. But even within that, if we don't experience that vulnerability and we don't experience that powerlessness, we can never get out of samsara, which means the cycle of birth and death. And what essentially was happening with Arjuna, we have to go back a little bit into this story. So if you see the scene here, who remembers what is this scene? Yes, Mataji. Exactly. And what did Duryodhana want? Right. He wanted Narayani Sena without Narayan. So what happens in this case is every day we are given with this dilemma. Choosing Krishna or Krishna's energies. They say, we want the kingdom of God without God. That's the nature of the mind, right? The mind wants the kingdom of God but doesn't want God. And when I say family, most of us, we are away from our extended family members, right? We are away from our relatives, our grandparents, parents in India, and we are by ourselves. So our nuclear family becomes a family. But then when we connect with devotees, that family circle increases. But within that family circle, here we are seeing cousin brothers. Duryodhana and Arjuna were cousin brothers. So the mentality of Duryodhana and Arjuna can be explained like this. This is something that was like for me when I first realized. In Satya Yuga, enemies were in different planets. Different planetary systems will fight each other. War between planetary systems. And then came Treta Yuga. And in Treta Yuga, it was different continents. The enemies would live on different continents. And in Dwapara Yuga, they started living in the same country, even within the same family, unfortunately. And that's Duryodhana and Arjuna, same family. And then in Kali Yuga, guess, where's Duryodhana, where is Arjuna? The Kaurava and Pandavas within my mind. Yeah, in the same body. And so what is happening is there's a constant war. There's the Duryodhana in me that wants Narayani Sena without Narayan. And what does that mean? So I was thinking, we have all heard this story of Mahabharata, but I wanted to give you an astrological perspective to how the kingdom of life works. It's very powerful. See, my astrology guru is from Melkote, South India, and he's worshipped self-manifested deities all his life, Nrsingadev and Melkote Dham. And he often says, whenever we're chanting Mahamantra, whenever we're chanting Nrsinga mantras, you know what happens? Our chakras open up and our consciousness becomes so aligned with the divine consciousness. So the macrocosm, Hare Krishna, the macrocosm, which is the stars and the planets and the sun and the moon and the nakshatras and all these macrocosm up there, becomes more accessible to the microcosm, which is our body, our mind, our senses, our consciousness, our subconscious mind. And what's essentially happening between the army and Narayan and Narayani Sena, whenever we are thinking negative things, whether it's about others or ourselves, when we're thinking, what's going to happen to my son's education? Is he going to make it? Right? It's like a typical human mind, like to go into the pessimistic modality. By chanting Mahamantra, we are actually multiplying that fear. And every time we are actually saying, thank you, Krishna. for the blessings that you've given. Thank you for the family. Thank you for the community. Thank you for the gratitude. Thank you for all the prasadam that I'm getting. Thank you for these wonderful deities. Thank you for the association. And basically, you are doubling and multiplying that gratitude, and you're welcoming more things that you can be grateful for. So what's happening in the kingdom of life is there's a king, that's sun in our charts, which represents our physical health, our relationship with authority, our sense of self-confidence. So whenever we have the mentality of Duryodhan to think, I want, you shouldn't have, that builds jealousy. Basically, it activates the negative side of the planet. It activates the negative side of the kingdom of spiritual. So spirituality is, it increases the more you give. That's why we give charity. Like if you value money, when you give money in the hundi, when you give money for charity, you're actually telling Lakshmi Devi, you're actually telling Radharani, I value abundance. And I'm readily giving it. So what will happen? It will multiply. So what we don't realize, this is easy for us to understand because we're born in Indian culture. We are all accustomed to that charity work. But what we don't realize is, if I wish well for somebody, that gets multiplied in my life. And when I become jealous about somebody, I'm actually essentially keeping that from happening in my life. Does it make sense? So if I look at somebody who has money or whatever it is, okay, material thing, let's say a nice sari. Somebody has a nice sari, and then we look at that sari and say, if we try to find fault in that sari, right? The mind says, sour grape, because I don't have that. No, but actually it's not so good. That color doesn't really suit on that person. So if we project the mind towards not appreciating, what we are essentially doing is we are rejecting that aspect, and it's not going to come to us. So if we value peace of mind, we should actually learn from people how they are peaceful. If we value somebody successful, appreciate people who are successful. And then that tendency will build on you. That tendency will develop on you. And that was Arjuna. He had the courage to do that. When Krishna asked Arjuna, I saw you first, what do you want? And Duryodhana immediately jumped and said, I was here first. And Krishna said, yes, my dear, but I didn't see you first. You were sitting at my head. Arjuna was sitting at the feet. So you see, the first attitude. Already, Krishna knew that mentality of Arjuna was he truly wanted Krishna. And it was very clear from Duryodhana that he didn't want Krishna. He didn't even believe in Krishna. Sometimes we want Krishna and Krishna's energy, but we're not able to understand that Krishna's mood is like loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. He wants everyone to be happy. And then when we see that Duryodhana becomes in ecstasy when he hears that Arjuna chose Krishna without weapon. You know, Nishastra, what is Krishna is going to do without Nishastra? You know, Arjuna, you're crazy. That's what Duryodhana thought, right? You're not gonna win. I got the Narayani Sena. So sometimes in our life too, we need to choose within our families also. Sometimes we just push maybe our children to become something we think is good for them. But we are not remembering that there's a whole karmic trajectory. They're not our children in that sense. We are here to facilitate. So there are some examples we can see about these points, okay? So the power of karmic relationships are meant to make us more complete. For example, first of all, why understanding karmic relationship is important? We develop appreciation for every member of our family. We understand that everybody has different natures. How many of you have children here? And how many of you have more than one child? Yeah. So you know that your own two children have completely different natures, right? And one of my friends was telling me she homeschools both the children, and she was saying she has to use different syllabus for the kids because her mind works differently. And Similarly, their karma is already fixed. And what we can do is adjust so that the karma can be utilized in the best way, so they can be more fulfilled. Like, for example, I took a flight to come to Seattle. So once I'm on the airplane and the airplane is up in the sky, there are some things which are predetermined. I cannot change the pilot. I cannot say, I don't like this pilot, change him for me. I don't like this steward, I want a different one. She's too tall. Whatever, right? I can't change that. I can't change the seat. I cannot say I don't like the seat color. I want to change the seat color. Some things I cannot change. But in the time that I'm sitting in that airplane, what I'm going to do with the time is not predetermined. So Prabhupada actually speaks about that, how much enjoyment we can have within our family, the harmony within the family, the happiness, the wealth. Those things are already there, it's already fixed. But the quality of it, you can determine it. So either we, whether for our own whether our own careers or the careers of our children, we could actually try to orient that in the way we want, or we can allow things to be by helping them understand themselves, to understand ourselves. What is going to fulfill me as an individual? And sometimes this kind of communication, it ends the karmic cycles. I've seen many times in my professional life that there are some karmic lessons that people need to learn, and the problems keep appearing again and again. Until they learn the lesson, the patterns will keep happening. So in the beginning, I was showing how Arjuna, he didn't run out of weapons, but he was feeling powerless. The truth is, my dear friends, each and one of us, at some point in our life, we will reach that point of powerlessness in some area or another. And that's actually a blessing. It's not a curse. To feel that sense of like, am I doing the right thing? Is this really the way I should be in this relationship? Is this the way I want my family to be? Or is it just a cycle that I'm going to keep doing over and over again? So how is that, like, letting go? The third point, as you can see on the screen, letting go of ego. And that's what Arjuna had to do, because he had a certain set of thought patterns that this is right and this is wrong. And when we get caught in our own right and wrong, then we cannot have a fulfilling relationship. So the whole point of relationship is to break that cycle. And in order to achieve that purpose, this particular family, even if family dynamics are the most complex, and if we cannot be vulnerable, at least with Krishna we can be honest. And if we can be, then we break that cycle, the chain of karmic thought patterns. Okay, so that's, and then the other point I already mentioned, welcoming the things that you want, appreciating qualities that you want to develop, and don't reject them. Especially if you're chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, your auras, your chakras become even more open, and your thought patterns have much more power. Anything can be done in Sattvagun, Rajagun, and Tamasguna. So you can either, these are the different aspects of life. We have to feed ourselves, we have to get a job, we have to be involved in some social systems, we have our emotions, these are the different levels of human existence. And then we have levels of thinking, we study, right, scriptures, we study philosophy, or we go to college, and then we take to a spiritual path. But this can be done in Tamasguna, Rajasguna, and Sattvaguna. We can perform devotional service. I have to do it, which is like Tamasguna. Or I can do it in Rajasguna. My service is the best service. Everybody else is useless. That's like Rajasguna. But Sattvaguna is to understand that we need different natures. Within our family, we have different natures. So within our communities, we have different natures. So building that sense of appreciation. So here is the journey versus the destination. So the destination is right here. We approach Krishna as the destination. But if we don't focus on the journey, so it's like, this is the, so if the destination is that Giriraj and the journey is on the boat, if I'm not careful about the journey, which means spending enough time with my family, understanding my family members, developing a sense of intimacy that with Krishna in the center, and if I'm not being there, then I may be doing some mistakes in the journey, and that boat could topple down, and I may not reach the destination very soon, which may mean another lifetime. And if I focus too much on the journey, enjoying too much the journey, and forget that my destination is Krishna, then we get affected by every trivial thing that happens within the family. Every small disturbance makes us very affected. How could she speak like this to me? Anything that's disturbing us becomes like a big thing. So there has to be the balance between the journey and destination. So I have many more examples, but I want to ask at this point if any devotees have any comments, any additions, any questions. Or am I just... Is it making any sense, or am I speaking Chinese? Any comments? Any questions? Hare Krishna, bro.
So how to choose the journey? What are the basic guidelines? Thank you.
Oh, excellent question. How do we choose? You see, the next slide is perfectly coming to the question there. It's Prabhu's question is exactly. See that person, he's trying to determine the journey. Which road should I take to reach the destination? Actually, this is a very deep question. It's relevant to each and one of us. Sometimes we are in a point in our career where we need to choose which direction should I take. If I take this direction, I'll hurt somebody. If I take the other direction, it'll hurt me. Right? Which direction is the best to reach Krishna? That was Arjuna's dilemma. If I do this, I'm going to go crazy. If I do that, then I'd be killing my guru. If I do this, everybody in the kingdom are going to become widows because all these soldiers will be killed. So he was looking at the path, and he was thinking every path is going to lead to something terrible. So there are different answers to that question, because in Srimad Bhagavatam, what we actually see is many devotees finding themselves at crossroads, not knowing which direction to take, not knowing which path, because the goal was very clear. Whether it's Parikshit Maharaj, very clear goal. He wanted Krishna. Gajendra, he wanted moksha. That's why it's called Gajendra Moksha. He wanted moksha. Let me see the photos I have. Gajendra, he wanted the moksha. Or even, in Daksha's case, this was like a whole Daksha situation there. He had trouble accepting the right path. And then his path had to be given in a very ghora way, very violent way. And then he ended up with the goat head. So whatever path we are talking about in Srimad Bhagavatam, one thing stands out: failures, mistakes. So if we are determined to find the right path, we must be open to accept failures. Maybe us, maybe people who we love. Failure is part of the success. In order to find the right road, sometimes we have to go through the wrong road to realize what we don't want in life. Sometimes the career path, right? Sometimes we study something, end up in a job, and then finally end up doing something else, because that path is necessary to go through. And some other times it's karma. We may not like the path we are on, but it's necessary for us to go through it in order to complete some karmic cycle. And in some other cases, the choice is really, truly ours. And we just don't have the courage. Sometimes people say, I'll take up to Krishna consciousness, I'll do devotional service later. I'll study Bhagavatam later. Now many things are going on in my life. I don't have time to study Bhagavatam. But that's not a path that is being given. It's a path that we are choosing. So there are 3 ways to find the path. One is with confidence, this is what I want and I'll go towards it. But the risk is we may actually do the journey very nicely, but maybe that's not what Krishna wants. And then we have to redo the lessons. I have seen sometimes in the charts, astrological charts of people, that they have to come lifetime after lifetime to complete some cycles. Like recently I saw father and son, they had a conflict. And this relationship is not just this life. Even in previous life, they were switching roles, father and son. Thank you so much. And that's why it's important to go through those, go through the path that has been given to you. Okay. Okay, so this is the Hridaya Granthi, as Srimad Bhagavatam says, the knot of attachment. So the most important thing is not the path that you take, it's the mood in which you take to the path. So Srimad Bhagavatam does not condemn Grihastha life. Srimad Bhagavatam does not condemn attachment. Not at all. In fact, Srimad Bhagavatam does not even condemn judgment, as we were discussing earlier. Bhagavatam doesn't say don't judge. It says, Bhagavatam says you should judge. It says, if somebody is superior to you in anything, maybe money, maybe strength, maybe renunciation, whatever, in any quality, if they are superior to you, you're actually supposed to appreciate that, respect that. Guna dikan mudam lipset. So if somebody is having a quality better than you, we are supposed to appreciate. So the path in that way would be to appreciate. And guna dhamat anukroshan. If you see somebody, they're not doing well, they're not really in the right path, it's not that we should keep quiet and not judge. We're supposed to say, okay, maybe that's not good association for me, but we're going to show compassion. We're not going to go and gossip and criticize, because Rupa Goswami says when we criticize somebody's bad qualities, we take that bad quality and we give our good quality to that person. We wouldn't want that, right? And when we appreciate somebody's good quality, we attract that good quality in us. We definitely want that, right? But sometimes we're subconsciously attracting the negative and repelling the positive. And that's what this knot does. It confuses us. We get attached that my child should behave the way I want, and then we forget to wish that my child will be successful, my child will be abundant. So sometimes we have values misplaced. We have priorities misplaced. So it's very important that the path should be chosen in the mode of Sattva Guna. And in Arjuna's case, he was able to choose the path through the mood of powerlessness. I'm not talking only about Arjuna, whether it was Draupadi, whether it was Kunti, whether it was Gajendra, whether it was Ajamil. Each and one of the characters in Srimad Bhagavatam that had a miraculous escape, miraculous rescue, was because of the mood of powerlessness. No, Bhagavad Gita was not spoken to Duryodhana, it was spoken to Arjuna. Because Duryodhana was very overconfident standing there. Right? He was saying, all these great soldiers, Bhishma, Drona, Pramukataha, all these great people have come to this war field to give up their lives for my sake. Right? That's what he was saying. That was his mood. So confidence is not what brought Krishna. So it's not that in devotional life you're supposed to become very overconfident. I can do this. No, it's actually the opposite. We go to Krishna and say, Krishna, I don't know what is the next right step. Please guide me. And that's what led so many great personalities to come to that. So even within our family, sometimes we don't know what is the best for our partners or our children. But if we are in that mood that I really want the best, it's possible. And it's possible through certain formulas. There are certain communication techniques. There are some, like one of the formulas I'll teach you today is called the win formula, because we're talking about Arjuna and Duryodhana. Both wanted victory, but the understanding of victory was different for Arjuna and Duryodhana. Duryodhana, like I said, he wanted Narayani Sena without Narayan, and he wanted victory without the victor. Whereas Arjuna, he didn't care about the external victory. He wanted the real victory of having Krishna by his side. So even within our life, each of us have different communication skills. Some of us are passive aggressive. I'm sorry. Some of us are. What to do? So we keep quiet. I don't like this and I don't like that, and I don't say anything. Maybe at work, maybe at home. We're resenting, we're regretting, we don't say anything first day and the second day and the first month. And then one day, small something happens, and what happens? Explode, right? And then the people in our family say, what happened to you? I only kept the glass here. What did I do that you're acting like a demon? Right? And then we say like, I'm not usually like this, but it got pent up there. I got suppressed emotions, and then it had to come out. So this is in the mode of tamas. So tamas guna, it has the mentality of lose-lose. I lose my temper, I will make you lose your temper. Lose-lose. Both of us lose, very good. This is a mentality of tamas guna. This is not what Krishna recommends in Bhagavad Gita. And then there's the other mentality of how Duryodhana wanted things to be. It didn't happen like that, fortunately. What was his mode? Win, lose. I want to win. I want the other to lose. You know, if we have this mentality with outside world, it will come with devotee community also. If we go to work and think, I want to win, I want this person to lose, when we come within devotee community also the same mentality will happen. Within your family also same mentality will happen. I want to win the argument, I want my husband to lose, or wife to lose the argument. I want to win and I want my child to lose the argument. Because it's the mentality of sattva or rajas and tamas. Okay, so in rajas guna, we get angry, we immediately assert our needs, and we don't give any space for anybody else to express. It's my way or highway. And what happens with that? Any experiences? What happens when we use Rajoguna techniques of communication in family? Peaceful, harmonious life, right? Are you sure? Huh? Long-lasting peace, eternal peace and happiness. Well, maybe if the wife goes on strike and doesn't talk to you, after that, that is a peace. So usually in those cases, aggression leads to resentment. And then trust reduces. And in case of children actually learn from the parents. If the parents lose their temper, they think this is the way. And they also lose their temper. And then there is no honesty, there is no true connection. And then the knot gets harder and harder and harder. So what is the solution? What is win-win then? Because lose-lose is not good, right? Lose-lose, like nobody wins, everybody's sad, the wife is upset, you're hungry, no food has been cooked, right? It's lose-lose situation. So you have to weigh the pros and cons. Usually we learn the hard way, right? So sattva guna would mean, okay, we, first of all, don't blame the other person. We don't say, you are lazy. No, we don't start the conversation like that. So we do not use you. We start the sentence with I. I need or I feel. Even if your wife or husband has done something upsetting. For example, what? Give me an example of something that upsets wives in general. Okay, yeah, doesn't communicate. Yeah, it's a good one. And husbands, what is the common thing wives do that upsets you? Keeps talking. Okay, good one. Okay, that's a perfect one. So, the husband's problem is that, can you give me a break? And the wife's problem is like, can you communicate for once? So the win formula would be, we don't go and say, you never talk to me, you never express your feeling, we have not had this conversation, you're such a da-da-da. No, we don't do that. Because that is in the mode of Rajas. And it will indefinitely end in Tamas. Rajas always ends in misery. Guaranteed. Right? Signature by Krishna, he has given in, not even in small print, it's in big print. Big print. No, but you're not telling feeling, you're judging. You're saying you are not expressing. That's not a feeling. That's why what you're saying is correct. We're supposed to express our feeling, but we are habituated to blame. We start the sentence, you are lazy, don't express, you don't do that. So immediately a person feels to close down. Instead, we become a little vulnerable. We take responsibility on it. I feel disconnected when we don't communicate. Yeah, by using this formula. So if we want the communication to work, we switch our brain from you did this and you're not doing this. Instead of saying you don't communicate, you are so lazy, you don't express your emotions, we change that grammar into I feel disconnected when we don't have communication. I feel confused, not able to understand what you're feeling when you don't tell me what's going on during the day. First of all is tone of voice, right? I can say the same thing like, Prabhuji, I really feel disconnected if we don't communicate. That's one mode. Prabhuji, I feel really disconnected when you don't communicate with me. I mean, please, okay, consider that there is tone. It's not just, the formula will not work like with Alexa or on an AI. You need to consider the human factor there. And of course you can say very in a sulky way, I feel so disconnected that you have not been expressing yourself. Don't expect me to cook anymore if you don't express yourself. That's going to be very tamas guna, blackmailing and very bitter. That's passive aggressive, basically. So sattva guna would be little control of what are you. First of all, to be able to express in sattva guna, you need to know what's going on. See, if you need to break the knot, you need to understand how the knot is tied. Have you sometimes tried maybe your pajama or somewhere the knot is tied and you're trying to pull it and it's getting tighter? Because you didn't understand the way it's knotted. So the same way, you need to know, why do you want your husband to communicate more? Okay? If the reason is because I want him to, because I want, isn't that enough? That's in the mode of passion. But if I'm aware, because I want connection, I want to be able to do service to Krishna together, then we acknowledge that. And we say, my dear Prabhu, I would feel so much more inspired if we communicated more. And give them some help by indicating, maybe we could talk for, don't expect too much. Prabhuji, can we sit for 2 hours and talk? The Prabhu will go, oh. They say, can we maybe talk 10 minutes. 5 minutes, each of us, equal amount of time. How our day went, and the husband will take only 1.5 minutes and the wife will take 10.5 minutes, but that's fine. So win-win means we're not expecting the other person to lose. We're not squashing that person, but we are truly expressing what it is that we need, but in the mode of sattva. And it requires some humility. अरे अगर पूछेंगे नहीं तो वो भी नहीं मिलेगा. So sometimes you have to compromise. Jai. So you're saying that you don't have this problem, right? Not necessarily, because some individuals have natures that may require for them to communicate more, and some individuals don't need so much communication. And because there are different natures, even among the Pandavas, Yudhishthir will not talk as much as Bhima. Bhima will just challenge left and right. Nakul and Sahadev, they will go and talk with animals, but they won't talk so much with humans. So I'm saying that even among the Pandava brothers, each one had their different nature. So it would be premature, or it would be unfair to say that every family needs to be the same. Okay, that's one style, and if it's working for you, I'm happy, but it's not yeah, if it's working for you, congratulations, but statistically that style may not work. To expect that this is how it's supposed to be, because family, one thing is the detail, get people to do what you want. Another principle is to be understanding of each other's needs. So somebody's need may be communication, somebody else's need may be peace. So we finished only one side of the formula here, right? We expressed to the Prabhuji, I really like spending time with you, and I feel disconnected sometimes when we don't, because sometimes men don't know how you're feeling. They're living in their own mind. So you go and express, Prabhuji, I really like connecting with you, and sometimes I feel disconnected when we don't. So maybe if you have time, could we meet at this time and have a conversation? Like my husband, he really likes planned things. He doesn't mind this giving the time, but he wants me to tell him, 8 o'clock we meet till 8:30. Now I can say I'm married 21 years, okay? I've gone through all kinds of styles, by the way. So one style is to complain and whine and say, what is this? Is this... By the way, he's watching. So one way I've tried and it's not worked. I tell, what is this? Is this a office or what? Why do I need to take appointment with you? Why can't we just talk when we want to talk? And basically, he withdrew more and I got not even that. Okay, that happened. Then I tried different formulas, okay? And one of the formula was to understand the need that his personality type is such that he doesn't like surprises. He doesn't like that suddenly I come out of the blue and start expressing my emotions. He cannot handle it. He just cannot handle it. So things needs to be planned out. Then he's there, quality time, and he's really there. He can listen. Do I like it? No, I don't like it. But if I cannot compromise on that, I won't get even that. So we figure out ways to adjust to get the best we can get. Because again, the destination is the point. Don't get lost in the journey. I don't like the boat going too much left and too much right. I want that perfect balance. Arey Baba, focus on the destination na. However the boat is going, who cares? Who cares? He likes planning, he doesn't like planning. Just move, keep moving the boat. Go towards the destination. So now coming to the husband, right? The husband's problem is, Arey kabhi to chup karo, right? Give me a break. I've heard you enough. I know it's the same thing you told me yesterday. I get that all the time. And then I had to explain to my husband, I know it's the same thing as yesterday, but again I have a need for you to. And please don't solve it, fix it. I just want you to hear. I don't even want a solution. I just want to be heard, right? So the husband can express like this. When I give you 1 hour of my time and it is still not enough for you, I feel frustrated because I don't feel valued, that I sacrificed 1 hour yesterday for the same problem and you didn't even tell me thank you. So if you want me to give 1 hour next time, I would like for you to appreciate me for whatever I do. In this way, I'll be able to feel inspired. So sometimes communicating in Sattva-guna way requires some humility, openness, vulnerability. Otherwise, if I'm just going and saying, hey, family means you're supposed to do this, man, why you're not doing this, you're such a bad, then this is not just you, we all do this, okay? This is how it's supposed to be. Who says that this is the way it's supposed to be? We all Indian people, we sometimes come up with all these kind of myths. Supposed to be, it never is. The truth is, it is what it is. Like, you're on the flight, the pilot is the pilot you got, the air hostess is the lady you've got, the seats are what you've got. You can't change that. Just, we have to get that in our mind. The husband we've got this lifetime, that's what it is. The program is not updatable. That is what it is. Then we work around that, focus on the destination. We don't walk towards each other because we'll clash and fall. We walk towards Krishna. So when we win-win formula is about Sattva-guna. There's Narada Muni used, Yudhishthir Maharaj uses. I mean, sometimes they did fight, Arjuna and Yudhishthir fought quite a bit. They insulted each other. Yudhishthir Maharaj insulted Gandiva and all, during those days of battle. But then because of Krishna's presence, they learned how to use this win formula. Krishna comes and tells Yudhishthir, hey, you've been too harsh with Arjuna. So sometimes even among the Pandavas, because they're Kshatriyas, there's a fire like you have that fire. It's supposed to be like that. But at one point, we have to see, does that work for us? Are you getting the result that is favorable? If we are not getting, maybe it's not them who needs to change, maybe it's us. Maybe change, shift the expectations. And then there is appreciation. Because I'm telling you, men and women are very different. I mean, there's a concept of men are from Mars, women are from Venus, but it's more in Vedic concept. It's about men are like sun. They're square. Basically you can guess what they're thinking. They're consistent, reliable. And moon is, how moon is. That's feminine. One day is full moon, one day is half moon, one day is no moon. Emotional, moody, right? The same thing we were complaining yesterday, today we're very happy with it. The same thing we were happy yesterday, we're complaining about it today. I mean, let's accept that cycle, right? It's okay, but if only we could understand that perspective and take advantage as much as we can so that that boat doesn't topple and we don't drown and we keep going towards the destination. So this formula is win-win formula is about giving space to the other person and opening up truly what it is that I want. Not just telling my husband to do what I want, but expressing to him what it is that I need. I need connection. I need to be heard. Men are problem solvers. If we just go and say, blah, 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 I feel like this, they can't handle it. We need to give them like specifics. I need 30 minutes of non-interrupted, so not solution-based, 30 minutes, and I will appreciate that very much. It will make me feel, there are some keywords, this AI and all, some keywords get activated. So that's how for men, because this sun is, although you'll see sun round, it's actually square. So it's about reliability, consistency. So use keywords, use positive words. It will make me feel very happy. It will make me feel secure. They like those words. They like to fix your feelings. So if you tell them, if you do this, I will feel fixed, they will readily do it. But if we approach them saying, you're not doing this, you're not doing that, and they say, the complaints. So they catch that. Am I right? Yeah, please.
I was waiting to.
Please.
So there are few points I want to. You're hitting the right nerve here, actually.
Okay.
Number one is, I'm just going to pick my own example.
Okay.
I don't want to speak for others. So from morning around 7, my meeting starts, and I keep talking till evening. I can't talk anymore. Right? And I had to deal with so many problems. I just want to go lie down and I don't want to talk to anybody. But that's the time my wife wants to talk to me. Okay? So then it becomes like, oh man, now what do I have to do? Right? So that's number one situation. It's nothing to blame her or finding fault in her. It is just my inability. Right? My situation is that I just don't have any energy left in me to have any meaningful conversation. Okay, so it's not like I hate her, I don't like her, or I don't want to listen to her or anything like that. It's just I don't have energy. Then on top of it, she says, okay, you have to listen to me. And then she comes and says something. I've learned after now close to how many? 20 plus years, I've learned I should not solve the problem. That I've learned. So whatever he says, my answer is, Then suddenly he'll say, what, you're not responding, solving my problem. So I won't know when to solve and when I don't. That problem, that is a mystery still to me. Sometimes I'm supposed to solve, sometimes I'm not supposed to solve. So that is still I'm trying to figure out when I should step in, when I should say yes or no. But sometimes you say, why are you not solving my problem? Then I have to.
Yeah.
Right? So that's still a mystery I'm trying
You're
to.
in the IT field, so if you can find solution through some AI for this, you will become
Mataji,
genius.
that's impossible, Mataji. That I found out it's impossible to solve because this is a very fuzzy logic.
Yeah.
It changes every day, So that's the big challenge, Mataji, right? It's sorry, Mataji? Okay, thank you.
She will make sure the problem doesn't exist.
So now what I encourage my wife is actually, thanks to Deepika Mataji and then few friends she has now, so I encourage her, why don't you call them, just talk to them.
Yeah.
Just because you like to talk, so there are so many Matajis are there, just talk to them. So I encourage, so now I feel like I'm little left alone. She's happy with me and I'm just left alone and all that. Then one other situation is there are problems. She listens to all the conversation I'm having in my home. So she works from home. She knows I'm going through challenges at work, right? Then she wanted to discuss that. That's the last thing I want to do. Because I'm already stressed out of that problem. I don't want to think about that problem. Because if I think about it, it stresses me more. So I would rather not talk about it.
Right.
Just go to sleep. If I sleep and wake up, I'm relaxed from that stress or whatever, and I can focus on next day. But she says, I want to discuss that. Maybe, Mataji, but I'm just expressing my situation now, current situation. So Sorry, Mataji, I just took too long on this topic, but this is...
Prabhu, we are so happy you're expressing and talking. This is what we're talking about. Actually, you gave a good example of expressing in Sattva-guna. Did you see Prabhu in a mood of lose-lose? No. Did you see him in the mood, I want to win, I want her to lose? No. Was there honesty? Was there authenticity? Was there humility? But was there also openness? There it goes. So Prabhuji just gave a demonstration of what it means to express in Sattva-guna. And a couple of things you mentioned. You said like, it's not that I don't want to, but I'm just not capable in that moment. Sometimes women, we don't want to understand that. See, traditionally, women, especially in Indian communities, we had large families, joint families. There was the mother-in-law, the sister-in-law, there were different women in the family. They will all get together, chat throughout the day about everything on earth and on the sky. The husband would be working all day. He'll just come home at night when they will feed. Everybody will just have like a general talk. And that's it. So the man was left alone to do his job and to do his thing. But the women constantly had the need of expression, of processing their emotions. So today, poor Prabhus and men, now they're expected to replace the friend, the sister-in-law, the mother-in-law, the counselor, the therapist, the neighbor. We expect the husband to play all those roles, right? And then we inevitably get disappointed. So one thing is also like, see, the two points I want to say. Statistically speaking, only 30% of the women feel that fulfillment through marriage. Because it's not that the 30% women will have the man filling all those roles. It just means that the woman has a nature to just say, I'll take what I can, I have other things in my life. This man is not the center of my life. Just, but when we have insecurity, when we don't, anyway, this is a whole women sangha topic. We'll talk about that. How to develop a sense of security so that we don't look for the man to validate us. But we have enough of that we can manage. Because when we're insecure, then we want to keep hearing that we are loved. We want, even though he's tired, even though he had a busy day, he should still love me by giving me that time. So there's a twisted logic behind it. It's nothing to do with you. It's nothing to do with the man. Just something to do with our own mind. So there is huge need for Vaishnavi Sangha, where we can learn from other Vaishnavis how to be Sattvic, how to deal, because these problems are common and normal. If you don't have these problems, then there's something wrong. If we have these issues, it means we're normal human beings. But how we deal with it can be in Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. In Tamas, we fry everyone. And in Rajas, we lose trust. So it's not about making an impression. Make an impression, oh, okay, cool. But if we can be like Prabhu is, then we gain trust. So anyway, this is some points. I think, I don't know what time I'm supposed to end, but I just want to show this last slide. See, karma is a very complex cycle. If you don't keep quiet with your husband, if you don't give peace, then next lifetime we may have to come back and resolve it. So sometimes we need to make peace with our karma. In other words, nothing happens by chance. It's not by chance you may have a talkative wife. Maybe something to balance off your karma from previous life. And it's not by chance that we have husbands who may neglect us. You want to know one secret? For men it may be slightly different. For women it applies. Every time I feel neglected, for sure it's Krishna telling me, why you just neglected me today during the rounds. So it's as immediate as that. if we're not paying quality attention when you're chanting, it happens to me often, then I feel neglected by my husband. He may or may not be neglecting me, but the feeling of neglect comes. So that's the way of Krishna. He's a lovesick blue boy. He loves that mood, no? So when we don't pay attention to him, you know, right? If you don't pay attention, he makes a mess. Mother Yashoda leaves him and goes to take care of the milk. He creates a mess. So he creates something going on for us. So karma and karmic cycle, nothing happens by chance. So it's not our husbands, it's not our wives who can make us happy or sad. But it can be Krishna's way of reminding us. So, my dear friends, you can sort out your karma in a sattva-guna way, end that cycle, and focus on destination, or keep doing the thing and then come back again and again, one time as husband, one time as wife, one time as wife, one time as husband, and still keep learning. I've seen, recently I saw one husband and wife, they were together in previous life also with the role reversed, and the karma is still teaching them lessons. So it's like Mahabharata says, like a calf will find its cow even amongst 1,000 cows, your karma will find you. Some people marry several times, but the lessons keep coming back. The same pattern keeps happening. Some people leave their jobs, in the next job, similar thing comes, right? So there are two types of problems. One is circumstantial problem, very easy to solve. Second is pattern-based problem. That's something here we need to. Okay, so those are some points. Spirituality is inherently vulnerable. We came to Krishna consciousness because the way we were living did not work for us. So now we have to admit that I may know Gita, I may know Shastra, I may be doing a lot of devotional service for many number of hours. That doesn't make you an expert at relationships. So we approach Krishna humbly and say, Krishna, I don't know how to keep harmony and help my family. You please help me. So this mood really keeps us safe, and Krishna can take us through that. Okay, so I can end here. Thank you very much. Any other comments or any conclusions? Yes.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you for the wonderful class. Mataji, in the last couple of slides you mentioned about karma with people around us and our devotional service. So Prabhupada has laid out some process for us to go back. So follow the 4 regulative principles, chant, these things. So, but our karma with all the people around us, like that is a different aspect. So in case if our karma is not done with people around us, so we have to take birth again. So but we are following devotional service also. So how does that both relate?
You know the story of Amba, right? You know, she was very much in Krishna consciousness, but she had unresolved emotions. She had revengeful mentality. She wanted to be born again and be the cause of Bhishma's death. And she came back. Several times, you know, there are devotees who were brahmacharis in their previous life, and this lifetime they came in a woman's body, and some of them even remembered their previous life. So the point is that Krishna consciousness can be performed in Sattva-gun, Rajagun, Tamas-guna. Relationships in Krishna consciousness can be in Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. So if we have an offensive mentality, or like I have seen some charts of people that were in Hare Krishna movement, they even remember certain things. They were men in their previous life and now they became women in Hare Krishna movement, and they came to experience the fact that women can also think, women can also preach, women can also be Sankirtan devotees. So sometimes if we hate something very much, Krishna makes sure that they need to be healed. He says they're not ready for back to Godhead yet. So we need to come back and resolve. Then Krishna will say, now you're ready. Because if we hate something too much, or if we love something too much, then we would have to relearn that lessons. And so sometimes mentalities we might have amongst devotees. This kind of win, lose mentality. We may think, I'll also lose, they'll also lose. But we sometimes have to come back. I have seen people coming back as brothers and sisters fighting for a small piece of land all life, putting each other through court and wasting crores of rupees in India. Small piece of land. It's not by chance. These are unresolved karmas. If we don't resolve it internally, it will appear as external court cases and land disputes and some other conflicts. So it's very important to make peace, to be non-envious, to be forgiving, to be charitable, to be generous. Then that truly makes you free. If we don't cultivate that sense of support system, again, it's up to Krishna. We can't determine. I can't go around and say, hey, this person, they need to learn this lesson. They have to. I can't determine that. Somebody, Krishna may say, okay, this person come back to Godhead. Somebody is very sincere. Somebody else may have something that's blocking them. And Krishna may put them in a situation which makes them humble, which makes them vulnerable, which is a good thing. Because when we are helpless and powerless, like Draupadi was when her sari was being pulled by Dushasan in the assembly, that's when she said, hey Govinda, and she put her hands up. And the same Krishna who did not come to rescue Yudhishthir Maharaj from throwing the dice again and again and again, losing Bhima, losing Arjuna, losing Nakul, losing Sahadev, even losing Draupadi. Uddhava asks, why Krishna you didn't go and save them? You're supposed to be Apat Bandhava. Krishna says, because they didn't call me. I was waiting at the door that they will call me. They didn't call me. Only Draupadi called me. So the point is not how much service we do. The point is when we calling Krishna in. Sometimes we think that I can fix the situation. But the truth is not how strong we are or how weak we are. Is when do we call Krishna in? Because he's waiting at the door for you. So the same thing with community. Sometimes people in community may hate us for some reason. And there's nothing you can do. Some people just don't have compatibility, right? Some people don't like some people. There's nothing you can do. You just humbly, don't build resentment. Don't have that aggression. Say, this must be some karma from my previous life. I accept this as purification. I bless this person. I mean, I learned this from a Karmi author who said, wish well for that person who hates you. Wish abundance for that person. First, when I read it, I felt so hard. But when I started doing it, it was so healing. Because then I started wishing well for that person, wishing well. Then when I saw that person next time, I actually felt only love and I felt nothing else. So it's very magical to turn your mind towards a solution. And when you keep wishing well, you will feel that. Yeah? Does it help?
Yes, Mataji.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Okay, we can end here.